Narcissistic mom kicked me out at 18 to marry a rich guy, then invited me to her wedding after 6 years to look good. But I ruined her big day, and now her new husband wants to leave her. I'm Justin, and my mom, Leah, is the textbook definition of a narcissist. Growing up, it was all about her. She'd parade me around when it made her look good, but otherwise, I was an afterthought. When I turned 18, she decided she'd had enough of me cramping her style. She kicked me out, telling me I was old enough to figure things out and needed to grow up. Little did I know she had her eyes set on a rich guy she met at one of her high society events. Kicking me out was her way of freeing herself to chase him without any baggage. I was homeless, living in my car for a while, struggling to make ends meet. I worked multiple shitty jobs just to get by, and every night I cursed her name. But hey, at least I was free from her constant criticism and narcissistic BS. Fast forward a few years, I managed to get my act together, found a stable job, and even saved up enough to rent a small apartment. Life was tough, but I was getting by. I hadn't heard from my mom, Leah, in all those years. Not a single call, text, or email. I assumed she was living her dream life with Mr. Moneybags. One day, out of the blue, I got a fancy-ass wedding invitation in the mail. It was from her. I almost threw it away, but curiosity got the better of me. Turns out, she was marrying that rich guy she ditched me for. And get this, she wanted me to be there to show off her perfect family. The audacity, right? I wasn't about to let her use me as a prop in her twisted game. I decided to go, but not to make her look good. I was going to expose her for the selfish, manipulative person she was. I planned everything meticulously. I gathered all the dirt on her I could find, including how she left me homeless. I even contacted a few of her old friends who she'd screwed over to get their stories. The wedding day came, and I arrived dressed to the nines, ready to play my part. Leah was all smiles, introducing me to everyone as her wonderful son. I played along, biding my time. When it was time for speeches, I took the mic. I started off nice and sweet, talking about family and how much my mom meant to me. Then, I dropped the bomb. I told everyone how she kicked me out to pursue her rich dreams, leaving me homeless. I shared stories from her old friends about her manipulative ways. The room went dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Leah's face turned as white as a ghost. Her new husband, the rich guy, looked like he was going to be sick. The guests were whispering, and I knew I had struck a nerve. I ended my speech by toasting to truth and honesty, and walked out, leaving the room in chaos. A few days later, I got a call from one of Leah's friends. Turns out, her new husband was furious. He had no idea about her past and was considering annulment. He couldn't stand the thought of being married to someone so deceitful. Leah tried to do damage control, but it was too late. Her perfect world was crumbling around her. I can't say I felt bad. She got what she deserved. Kicking me out had been her ticket to a better life. But in the end, it was also her downfall. Now, she's alone, just like she left me all those years ago. And as for me, I'm doing just fine, living my life free from her toxic influence. Karma's a bitch, isn't it? So there you have it, folks. Sometimes the best revenge is just telling the truth. Thanks for sticking around to the end of my story. Hey everyone, it's Justin again. If you thought the original story was wild, wait till you hear what happened next. After my explosive speech at Leah's wedding and the subsequent fallout, I thought things would quiet down. Boy, was I wrong. After the wedding fiasco, Leah's husband Richard did some digging. He found out even more about her shady past and her manipulative ways. She tried to spin it, playing the victim card, but Richard wasn't having any of it. Within a month, he filed for an annulment, and Leah was back to square one. You'd think she'd learn her lesson, but no. Leah went on a rampage, blaming me for ruining her life. She showed up at my apartment one night, screaming and pounding on my door. I called the cops, and she was escorted away, still yelling about how I'd destroyed everything. A few weeks later, I got an unexpected call from Richard. He wanted to meet up. I was wary, but curiosity got the better of me. We met at a coffee shop, and to my surprise, he apologized for how things went down. He had no idea Leah was so manipulative and thanked me for opening his eyes before it was too late. Richard and I kept in touch. He even offered me a job at his company, seeing how hard I'd worked to get back on my feet. I accepted, and my life started to turn around for the better. Leah's life, on the other hand, was spiraling out of control. She lost her lavish lifestyle and had to move back to her old, rundown apartment. She tried reaching out to old friends, but they'd all turned their backs on her after the truth came out at the wedding. She was alone and desperate. One day, she showed up at my workplace, begging for help. It was a surreal moment. The woman who'd kicked me out and ruined my life was now asking for my assistance. I told her I'd help her find a job, but she had to own up to her past and make amends with the people she'd hurt. Leah, surprisingly, agreed. She started attending therapy and slowly began to apologize to the people she'd wronged, including me. It wasn't an easy process, and there were plenty of setbacks, but she was trying. For the first time in my life, I saw her genuinely making an effort to change. She eventually found a job thanks to Richard's connections and began rebuilding her life. We still had a strained relationship, but it was improving. I kept my distance, but I didn't completely shut her out. It's been a year since the wedding disaster, and things are looking up. I'm thriving at my new job, and Richard has become a good friend and mentor. Leah is still working on herself, and while we'll never have a perfect relationship, we're making progress. I learned a lot from this whole ordeal. Sometimes people do change, but it takes hitting rock bottom to realize the need for it. And as for me, I've moved on from the past and am focusing on building a better future for myself. So that's the update, folks. Life's still a roller coaster, but at least now I'm in control of the ride. Thanks for sticking with me through this crazy journey.